Now, I've reviewed hundreds of D2C advertisements before, and I'm going to show you the framework that I devised for replicating the best performing ones at scale as well as in just minutes. I'll show you how I did it, not only giving you the exact prompts that I used, but also showing you how to tap into the emotional and novel angles behind your exact audience. Now, if you have the time to follow along, I've left my documentation in the first link below. It's a Google Docs link. You can just create a copy or save it for later. The reason this is so important is because, in my experience, the brands that are succeeding are not the ones with the largest ad spend behind them, but they are the ones that can create and test many different visual formats across a larger audience and then bring that back into their highest converting segments, which allows for a very small turnaround time compared to anyone else. So this video will be very useful for those that are starting out, especially if your static ad fatigue is very high, which is often the case with these e-commerce brands. The important thing is that you can create agency level visual creatives with just yourself and 10 minutes. The first thing that we need to start with is targets research. Before we even get into the prompting or generating anything, we need to understand who our audience is and who it is that we're speaking to with these adverts. So in the document you'll find general demographics like age, gender, location, income-based budget, lifestyle, etc. You also want to define your USP, which is your unique selling point, what makes your product stand out more than the competitors, what your audience's core need is, who do they follow, what excites them, their goals, aspirations, both in the short term also as well as the long term. So things like their vision, what it is that they want specifically out of life, what frustrates them, their pain points, their struggles, what are some failed solutions that they tried in the past. These will usually be your direct competitors, and in this case you can then find out what it is that they did not like about that product. Some common misconceptions, what objections do they have, any best case studies that you have, any promotions that you've ran with large names or biggest customers. And what you would do is actually take the time to fill this out with real quotes and direct messages that people have sent on your Instagram, on your social platforms, on certain subreddits where people are active, forums online. If you've run any kind of questionnaire, this would all go in here. This, if you have a lot of detail here, it will simplify 90% of the work already. So just telling the AI what it is that you are trying to, or who it is that you're trying to sell to, will make this a lot easier, and the output obviously is going to reflect that. But for the purpose of this video, I'm actually going to have AI generate this for me, just so you know how it would work. But this is the part that you would not have AI do. So I've taken all of this and copied it over into Gemini, and I've said fill out the above using your best knowledge and research on a electrolyte drink for athletes and sport enthusiasts. Okay, so this result is already a very good starting point because we're getting very specific here with 3 p.m. energy crash, hitting the wall at mile 10, recovery by 5%, and we also have things like Andrew Huberman, Joe Rogan for health and longevity. So there are a lot of relationships and avatars to real people and real audiences, so we can use this for the example, but in your case it would be actual data that people have said or actual words that people have written online. Now I've copied all of this over into a new document which we will be using shortly. The next step is to actually find the winning formats that have worked historically for this niche in the past. And I'll put some examples here on screen, but these are just general formats and guidelines that people follow and that have been proven to work very effectively. Now there's many formats to choose from. Obviously you can go out and choose the ones that you like best. In my experience, different ad formats actually work best in different areas of the sales funnel. So for example, the problem to proof you would use in the top of funnel where people aren't really aware of your product yet, whereas if they already know what the product does, if they know the benefits, if they know what objections it already handles, you can retarget them with the benefit stack format, which is more explaining more details and giving more information into what the product actually does. That's more to educate instead of to persuade. Now, once you've found your winning format, the next step is actually to generate the prompt that will create this winning format. The idea here is not to go straight from your ICP profile here to the image, because that skips the step of creating a very solid prompt that the AI will understand, especially with visual models like NanoBanana Pro, which we'll be using later on. It's very important to have precise prompt engineering because it will allow you to get the best outputs and not have things like misformatting, spelling mistakes, all the usual mistakes that visual AI models usually do. So if we save this document and we upload it into ChatGPT, and then we go back to my SOP document, the second part of it is actually the static visual prompt that will generate the image. So we can take this, We can replace this with Iona, which is just a made-up name. Electrolyte performance drink for okay. So now that we've uploaded the exact PDF with our ICP research, as well as this prompt, it will ask us for some example ads, which you can take from anywhere online. For example, from Facebook ad library, from online portfolios or LinkedIn ad libraries, pretty much anywhere where you have found some good ads. So if we upload the example, it will analyze the image and then it should give out a nice prompt. Okay, so it has given us 3 different concepts. One is a core comparison ad, the other one is education based, and the other one is a LMNT style. And so what you can do is choose the one that you like, and you can copy paste this into any text to image generation software. I've heard Higgsfield is very good for this, Nano Banana Pro, or even Meta AI, and some will be better than others, but in this video I'll go back to Gemini and then paste this prompt in. And then hopefully it should give me the first iteration of a very good advertisement. Okay, there it is. So you'll notice that the words that are used are exactly from our target profiles. So these are exact pain points and exact objections that they had online that are then reflected in the ad. And this is already a very nice comparison static ad where you can take this and go into Canva and then tweak a few things before you run this. So you can do the same thing with the variant of the benefit stack, which is you give it the same exact example and then you say replicate this the same brand ad with this. And you can see the result is very clean, very optimal. It's also on brand, if you notice. It uses the same color and the same font as the one previously. And this is already a very nice format that you can already start running and experimenting with. So I hope this makes sense. You can play around with a lot of different formats. You can give it a lot more format, different examples of things that have worked online or things you just like. And obviously the better the image generation. For example, if you have lifestyle images like the one here, the problem-proof one, obviously better models or higher quality models will be more useful to you. I will leave you with the complete document link below. Feel free to experiment, and if you have any questions, let me know.